Good morning, and welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. It's your girl down the Crypto TA, and we are going to recap on yesterday, and then I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I'm seeing in the chart right now for Bitcoin. So, yesterday I gave you a positive scenario and a negative scenario. So, it looked like here that we may have had an inverse head and shoulder. So the measured target for that would have been for price action to get up here around this 4-hour level right here, just above the one where we capped out at in here. And I did mention that I did not see that volume actually confirmed it. We had two spikes in here. We had no spike over here. And that there was also this potential scenario over here where we may have some sort of a bear flag, but a rising formation nonetheless. And that the 4 hours suggested that price could come back down round about here, which you can see we've clearly lost that level in here. Now I did add a secondary one up here, just indicating that momentum would start to round out in here. So you start to drop that momentum in here, but you absolutely lose it once price came down to here. But this was the initial place of negative news in here. Just what the 4 hour was suggesting, that the momentum had slowed in here as we got this push up. But currently, just looking at the 4 hour, I don't see anything that really indicates that we would get a nice pushback up. Not just yet. The 15-minute time frame, however, does suggest that we will see some sort of a corrective move come in, just not getting anything off of the 4 hour at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these places in here. And we also had our little range in here as well. And you can see how price came back down, took liquidity off the low of the range, tried to get a bounce up, just didn't find it. So, and the data yesterday was not in favor of markets. It was good for currency. So that was another thing. Something else that, let me delete this. I'm going to leave these two lines in just in case price decides it wants to tap into here and try to hold it, or in case we come up and we look for a rejection in here or something. But at the moment, I'm really not seeing it. The other thing was, I mentioned to you, okay, well, we can also plot this little trend line in here across the RSI, and I had ended up moving it to the 4 hour yesterday while we were live streaming. And you can see how right in here, we broke down below the trend line right in here. So it's like if you don't have, your RSI is probably not going to look like mine's, which is generally this yellow line in here, but that you could plot a line across it, and I show you how it actually matches up with the 4 hour. So you can see right here on the 4 hour, it actually, you just put it right on each pivot down here at the low, and then you can see where this candle right here, we have this outside bar, and then that was, that's basically the gist of things right there for the 4 hour time frame. Now we were trying to hold in here just ever so slightly, just trying to hold this yellow line in here, but we're starting to slip that momentum in here as well. So like I said, we'll see if we can get a bounce off of this line in here if we continue down. Otherwise, I would start to look here at the golden pocket. The initial setup for the short position, I'm gonna put this back on the 1. But the initial setup that I've been looking for here on a short is the low of this line in here. But we may have to start looking a little bit lower, just depending on what the data ends up looking like today as well. So you can see how it's just below this line in here. May have to force this down a little bit to the weekly level here, which is around 105. And then of course the second long option is going to be somewhere down here around 99,000. So these two are still on the table. Like I said, I may have to actually move this one right here and drop it into the weekly. So it will be more so something like this instead. That may be the case in here. But I'm gonna leave it as is for now, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, we're just still roly-poling up over here right now. Daily, as you can see, isn't really giving any indication of a reversal just yet. We still have this huge gap in here. So I know that much with this gap in here on the RSI that the momentum is not picking up for this time frame. It's not picking up just yet. So maybe we'll do something like over in here, how you can see this gap in here, but we need to get above. We need to be above this blue one. So you can see here how the RSI comes up the blue one. We at least need to do that and then just kind of start to trickle and then get an explosion up. But yeah, daily still doesn't look too enticing. MACD still pointing to the downside. Delta is negative at the moment, but yeah, MACD is still to the downside, and we are below the zero line, which is the same situation right now for the 4 hour. It is. You can see now that our MACD, it did. We started to um, alternate the color right in here, from the orange to the yellow, orange to the yellow. That's also an indication right there too. Um, and now we're just completely yellow and we're pointing to the downside and we're below the zero line. So we were below the zero line already, which means it's simply a correction until we get above the zero line. So we do want to see the MACD get above the zero line. So that's one. See over here on the 15-minute time frame. This was the one for the 15-minute time frame right here. So the one I said if you wanted to go off of the 15-minute time frame, then this is the one here that needed to be held. And you can see that that didn't work either. And we tried to get some sort of a little push up here following the data. And I was like, okay, so we're going down. There's no way. So we're going down. And that's just kind of where we're sitting right now. We'll take a look here at Ethereum. Let's see. So you can see where Ethereum is at here. Let me just put it on a 4-hour time frame here. But the idea with Ethereum is that Ethereum has to consolidate in here for a little while. So as long as Ethereum, I don't know, ETH may still be able to get down here. Like when we dropped in here, we only ended up tapping into that CME gap in here, and we got the bounce away in here. But as I've shared many times before, it's just the monthly and the 3 month. That's as far as I can go to pull the data on it anyway. It just doesn't look like a place where Ethereum could actually sustain a push up. Like it can get it, but it'll probably end up leaving like some sort of a topping tail at the top if it were to try to push out right now. So just sort of building some momentum in here, just trying to hold the range. So as long as we're staying somewhere within the bounds of, I'd say this 4,008, then I would say Ethereum is okay. It took a while for us to even get back down here because I griped and I griped and I griped about potentially coming back down here to this expand level, which we ended up doing. But right now, we're on our last 4 hour coming down. This is our last 4 hour level in here. And then if we start to push in a little bit more, then I'll be looking at 4,008 here for Ethereum. And let me see what we have happening in here. So yeah. This could be constructive. The way it's stepping, the way it looks like a kind of like a stair step in here. This could be constructive in here for ETH. But the other thing is the Solana dominance. So which has been doing very well. Even pushed up even higher from yesterday. So when we look at Solana dominance versus Ethereum, this was another idea that I mentioned a few weeks here now, is that Sol versus ETH, you could see that it was starting to pick up, and then that typically affects the rest of the market. So it actually did come back up here and tap into this line in here now. So yeah, I haven't looked at the price on Sol, but I'm gonna take a look at that too. But we could be going into a Solana phase right now, just allowing Ethereum some time to build up some pressure to actually get a break to the upside, to reach those extended targets that everyone's talking about. But at the moment, yeah, this thing looks pretty good over here. I'm just gonna stretch these out just a little bit. I wish there was a way to simultaneously pull these out. I'm just going to do all the ones to the top anyway. Everything within the red and up. So that's looking hella nice. See Bitcoin dominance. Just kind of tagging around that 20 SMA at the moment. ETH dominance has actually slipped back below this range in here. So I guess I'll be looking down here around the 13.77 if we do continue to drive down. I guess, yeah, these highs in here be something to look at and see if we can't hold that as support in here for Solana. For Ethereum dominance. That's just the VIX and USDT dominance. Oh boy. So this is the situation that we were looking at here for USDT dominance after we got the reclaim of our macro trend line down here. And I drew this, actually I did this from the weekly time frame. So let me just, I think I did this from the weekly. Let me just ensure. I may not have. I guess I didn't do it from the weekly time frame, but let me just take the red one away. But that's basically just a measure move back here into this white line right here. So whatever this structure is in here, I just call it a channel because it's not wedging. But we are continuing to hold our macro trend line in here. So right across here. And be it a bearish pattern though. It is considered to be a bearish formation. But right now, no, it's just that macro trend line that we've been holding. So as long as we continue to hold that, then again, this is what typically starts the reversal for USDT dominance and Bitcoin. So Bitcoin typically goes, it does the opposite of this whenever we drop into this lower trend line down here. You can see how we push away when we drop into it. So we have until next month. I'm still looking at next month. I'm still looking at the possibility of, I think it's like the 20th of October, something like that. I have to look back at it. 20th, 25th, something like that of October. All right, and this is probably our 15-minute now. I'm just trying to give us some sort of a relief in here. I do see some sort of a potential momentum shift trying to take place in here, but I would not expect too much right now. The place right now for price to get above, and let me just go ahead and line that out here. It probably will move somewhere around 8. So it will be something like this, but that would only, let's see. It's not much of a It's not much of a move, to be honest with you. If we do manage to hold in here, let's just say the 8 hour comes around. I'm sorry, the 4 hour time frame opens Prince's new candle, and we can see that we're still holding the momentum, at least on the RSI. Then we could actually come up into here, maybe reject from here if nothing changes in here, and then we might be able to just get back here into this orange 4 hour right here. We may be able to do that today. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I don't see any pressure building, but I can see that if we do get a push up, we could see a rejection here. And if not here, then it'll be, if we can push past this rejection zone, then we may have the potential to get up just back into here. So basically be back testing, probably back testing this channel in here, something like that. But we're trying to do something right now off of this time frame. 15-minute. There's a nice little squeeze here. Forgive me for the yarning. You see we're starting to squeeze in here. And I am going to look at Solana too. I want to see what it's doing. Now, Crow has a really nice squeeze on the 15-minute time frame, which, Crow was a big performer yesterday, and it does have a nice little squeeze here on the 15-minute time frame. Probably push prices back up. I'm just mentioning it simply because it has been performing rather well. So it does have a nice little squeeze down here. And this is still the range that Crow is in right now. But let me take a look and put this on a 4 hour. Take away this midpoint in here on that. Take a look at Solana. Just want to see what we're looking like. So it did correct a little bit in here, but nonetheless still performing much better than Ethereum. So we're still attempting to hold our weekly average range in here around 207 right now for Sol. And as long as we're doing that, then I just continue to look up here on Sol. So I think it's time. This our whole level in here. We looked at yesterday. If price does come down, we want to see it hold here around 201. That may have shifted as well for Sol. And I'm going to be sticking with the 4 hour when it comes to yeah, it's still basically the same. Like you do want to hold this 207. It's actually more important that you hold this 207. But if you do drop into the 207, then you're gonna want to see. You're just gonna want to see price action do that. Because if it doesn't, then might be a little bit of a problem. So holding 207 is pretty critical in here right now for Sol. All things are pointing up on Sol, but yeah, you start to lose this, and it might mess up some things. Actually, as I yarn, I actually just leave that as it is here for Sol. And this is based on the 4 hour too. So let me just block it. So it's not traveling with it. All right. And let's just see here how XRP is doing. All right, so nothing much has changed over here with XRP. Still in between the golden pocket 786. Still looking at 274 with continuation down. SUI starting to lose this little 4-hour level in here. And should that happen, I'd just be looking. Still, nothing's changed. I'd be looking at 321. And if it can't hold 321, then I'd be looking at the golden pocket. SUI sometimes front runs golden pocket. So if you're into SUI, then you probably already know that it doesn't always hit the golden pocket. BNB, same place as well. So a lot of things are really performing a lot better than Ethereum at the moment. So BNB still around this daily level in here. I still be looking down here at this 4-hour at 827, and then potentially this one in here. ADA, same shenanigans in here. Starting to kind of slip this this low in here at 82, and then again I'll be looking at 78, which means you would drop below VWAP, but it's okay. It's not a perfect bounce on VWAP. H bar still the same. Tagging around here around this weekly level in here. We continue down, and then VWAP is lying in here at 22 cents. We start to lose VWAP. Then it starts to look really bad. There's nothing more to say about that. Start to lose VWAP, then starts to look pretty bad. This thing in here still have an untapped, have an unfulfilled inefficiency in here, down 0.00007. So Floki, a little bit of Floki there. Chainlink. This was our whole level yesterday in here for Chainlink. So we're down below this right now. And I suppose looking back at this daily level here, which means that it wouldn't have too much further to go in here. But besides that, I'll be looking down here again towards the weekly average range low at 21 here for Chainlink. Do have a golden pocket down here, but I probably look this low again. Round and top formation. I've talked about that a few times in here. So it does have that round and top formation, which means it could be very slow getting down there. You're still thinking it's bullish, and it's not, because it's rounding. Hyper liquid. So it did sort of lose all of these levels in through here. So I'm gonna just take those away. That away. I start to look back down here at the weekly level here for Hyperliquid. If it does continue down, otherwise I look for it to. Don't really have I don't think I actually put out any levels. Oh, I did. It's just that it doesn't have a lot of levels in here on a weekly. So it'll just simply be based off of order blocks at this point if it gets a pull away. So, but now I'll be looking back down here around 40 for hype. On a continued push down. Otherwise, I look for price to come back up somewhere within here. Yeah, it's a little daily. So nothing has actually changed. So it doesn't make sense for me to. Okay, so this measure move right here, I can finally delete this. This would have been the Head and Shoulders measure move here for Stellar. So that's done. I'm going to get rid of this too because that's outdated now. All right. think I may have. Let's see, I'm gonna delete that. I may have mentioned something about an SFP in here, but this doesn't look too. It doesn't look too good for an SFP. Not even strong reaction right now. So, be looking back here around 34, down here to the golden pocket here for Stellar. Ooh, nice squeeze on Stellar 4 hour. So I like Stella's 4 hour. Just a matter of when does this play out, but I like Stella's 4 hour, so might be something worth looking into. Yeah, I can see that not a lot has actually changed in the chart. So I'm not gonna go through all of this. So we did make our way back down here again to this weekly level in here for Tron at 33. And if it continues to push down, and I just look at the golden pocket where we have VWAP sitting at for Tron. But I think that's gonna do it here on the altcoins because nothing has actually changed from the last couple of times that we've covered it. Everything basically looks the same. Let me see Birch down here. I do like XLM though. I do like this chart. Hmm. It's not shabby. Hmm. And just kind of watch this one today. But let me jump back over here on Bitcoin a little bit. And we're basically just looking to hold a low in here right now on Bitcoin. Oh, wow. I don't know what happened in here. That's another banger right there. Pith. And I had actually bought some I had it before. I've let it go and I bought it again. I don't know, maybe it's been like a month now. It's up 87.1%. How about that? I actually need to look at that chart. Let's see. Oh, baby. Look at that. All right. Let me take a look at something. You know what? It looks like I might have sold that one. I couldn't tell you why. I don't see it in my account right now. Looks like I might have sold it. Well, that sucks. I promise you, I just picked this up and I don't see it. So I guess I did sell it. And I was all excited, like, hold on, let me check something. Let me look at my account. Let me see how much I'm up on this. And I let it go. Big ups to anybody who's in Pith right now. That's a nice move because Pith has been struggling here. Dang, I let it go. I can't think of any reason right now. Maybe I moved some. Yeah, switching up my accounts, switching up my portfolio. Wow, I actually let it go. All right, so that's a bummer for me. Yeah, yeah, that's a bummer for me. I actually I sold it on the 12th of August is what my account is showing me. I actually sold it on the 12th of August at about 13 cents. Okay, so that's that. This looks nice though. So that's nice. Uh wow. Wow, wow, wow. I don't really see anything else that's popping in here right now. And nothing that I have or had. Nothing that I have or had. I might have set a stop on it. And that took me out. Okay. Anyway, I am kind of distraught over that. Let me take a look at the weekly chart. Still has a lot of work to do, but nonetheless, this looks pretty nice though. Let me take this one away. I'm telling you, in a couple of days, maybe a few more weeks or something like that, you're going to see that happen with DOT. You're going to see it happen with probably ICP, which is still consolidating in here, and then potentially AVAX. And see a nice move on all three of these. That's my case. That is my case for them. Like these three right here. Add Orca. But that dot and that AVAX, those are going to be some good sleepers, especially that AVAX. So, all right, back to Biddy. for a little bit in here. All right. We did close above this candle in here. Like I said, just trying to hold this low in here right now. And we're going to start to squeeze a little bit more in here. So what I am going to do. All right. Just build a small little position in here. I'm building, so there's no way for me to do something like this because I'm building it. Just throughout here. In terms of today's data, we have core PCE price index. That's the most impactful information that we have being delivered to us today. And then the rest of it is low impact, which is going to be your goods trade balance, personal income, personal spending, and prelim wholesale inventories. And then, of course, there's consumer sentiment, the revised version, both inflation expectations, and that's going to be at 10, but 8:30 the core PCE. Forecast is for 0.3%, and then we'll see what we get. We want to actually see price come in less than forecast because greater than is good for currency. So we want to see it come in less than. So we want to see it come in under that 0.3%. It might just hit it exactly though. I don't know if there's anything going on in the news today because we're pretty extended down, oversold down here, which is fair. We got pretty low in here though. Maybe something will pop up over here if I do this. Maybe. Here's when Bitcoin's next all-time high may come. 1 hour ago. Oh, tell us, great one. You gotta love it. And if you've never, and I've mentioned this a few times in here, I don't think I really ever just shared it. No, that's gonna be my screener. Let's see, community. You can find some good stuff in here. So let's do that again. So this little icon in here that kind of looks like a Wi-Fi signal. You click on that, you'll find some good analysts in here and some things to look at. Look at this. Time to buy. Now, everybody's going to be on that Solana kick. But we were first. No, I don't know if we were first or not. I'm pretty sure we weren't. Probably on time with a lot of good people who were thinking about that, looking at that dominance. But I have been talking about it. Pat myself on the back. All right, but you can find some good setups from people within here. I haven't looked at this in a minute, but it's probably like 2 people in here that I actually follow. And then you can also learn like they'll give you like some courses and stuff like that. So some good stuff in here. If you ever, let me just see what this person in here is saying. They're looking up. I'm not doing that right now. I am not doing this right now. And then for Solana, I hate cupping handles. I hate them. But they're showing you a cupping handle. No, it's never time to buy in here. Time to buy is down here. Time to buy is when it's dropping. That's the time to buy. Just like now, my limit order did not get filled. It did not get filled. I don't want it anymore, so I'm just going to delete it. And I'll wait. Maybe we start to build up a little bit more pressure in here on the 15-minute time frame. That'd be great. But yeah, my limit order did not get filled. We're sniffing out some resistance in here anyway. So you can see how the little candle in here is responding. They're getting smaller. So we're sniffing out some resistance in here. Look back at Crow because I might just open a position on Crow over here. And just off of Crow's 15-minute time frame. I think I'm going to do that. Right now is open a little position here on Crow. It's down 16.40% right now, so all right, so that limit order got triggered. And I'm going to keep this pretty tight here for Crow. Crow 15-minute is actually so I'm going to keep this pretty tight because here's the 200 EMA right here, and you can see how we're hovering around it. So if we start to look like we're going to deviate um, far off from this right here. Then I'm going to drop this. So again, I just entered into a little bit of a long position here, just based on the 15-minute time frame. But if we start to pull away from here too much, then I'm going to drop this on Crow. I'm going to leave it just like that so I can check back in on it. It is just kind of walking sideways right now. So I'll leave it as such. Leave it like this. I am sorry for my delay in speaking. I'm sorry. I just need to make sure no shenanigans happen in here. Because if they do, I want to make sure I'm out of it. Ooh, heck no. All right, I'm gonna do it like that for now. So I'm putting my stop loss here, and you saw how I did that. So I'm just putting my stop loss here. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna wait for price to come down into here. I would probably cut it before then, and that's just my risk. I would end up cutting it before here, but just in case some shenanigan happens, like I don't know, some surprising message or something, and just some big candle to the downside happens, I want to just protect myself from that. But uh, I will close Crow out likely before it reaches that white line. Yep, it'll be done before then. Oh boy. All right. Bitcoin. Yeah, that little rejection point that Bitcoin was at. Same thing still applies right now, though. Just making sure that we hold it low. Really, if we can hold this bottom tail, this candle right here, that'd be great. But if not, then we're managing to hold this one here. The markets have really been a bomb lately. Like, I was trading on BTCC. Remember I told you about that, and I've stepped away from it for now, just simply because I was using BTCC just to, you know, trade things like Palantir, Amazon, AMD, Nvidia, stuff like that. But I'm just not really like feeling the market right now, so I'm off of it. I should give it a try with some crypto. Yesterday, I broke my workup out into two separate time slots. I did my walk first, and I'm walking and not running. I had to stop and buy me some new shoes too as I was walking, so I just popped into Marshall's as I was taking my walk on my way back, and I bought a pair. Oh, let me tell you about that. So I'm on my way back with my walk, and I stop at the Marshalls, and I'm like, okay, let me just grab me a pair of athletic shoes out of Marshalls if they have some for me. And first of all, I was having a hard time finding a pair. I was feeling like I was having to settle for a pair, but I ended up liking the ones that I got. So when I went to the counter to pay for them, I just asked the young lady who was ringing me up to just cut the tag off of it. I'm gonna throw these on my feet as soon as I pay for them, and that's what I did. I didn't really notice a difference in the shoe immediately, but as I started to continue walking, so I'm heading back home at this point, I noticed that the right shoe didn't feel as comfortable as the left shoe. And so when I get home, I take the shoes off and then I check the sizes, and one size was smaller than the other, so the right shoe was smaller than the left shoe. So I'm like, oh my gosh! I even threw away the receipt and everything. So I threw away the receipt and the box, all everything while I was there at Marshalls. I go back and I'm like, I Googled too, like, can I take this back without the receipt? Because I don't want to hassle. I don't want to hassle because they're packaging the shoes wrong. And the guy, I'm assuming that he may have been one of the managers or whatever, tried to give me a hard time about the freaking shoes. And I'm like, look, young lady rung me up at that register right there. I had to clip the tag off. I said, I can check that trash can. Like, no biggie. I like the shoes. I want to keep the shoes, but I just need the correct size. Like, I'm not expecting to come in here and buy a pair of shoes, and you're selling me two different sizes. Like, I'm not expecting that. And then she actually looked at the freaking shoes too, or were supposed to be looking at the shoes. But maybe I hold some responsibility as well for not checking to make sure that both sizes were correct. But it's supposed to be convenient for me to walk in and buy a pair of shoes and both sizes match. But then there's another lady there anyway. She simplified things for me, and I'm telling her the same thing. But they want to put everything on. You want it back on your card, or you want a gift card? I'm like, just give me the gift card, because if I can go over there and find that other 10, then I'm keeping these shoes. So I walk over and I'm looking for the other 10. And how about the other shoes have the wrong sizes in them too? Of course they do. They got a 9.5 in a shoebox with an 8.5, and I got big feet. I'm a 10. I got a 9.5 in the shoebox with an 8.5, and then the 10 that I needed was in there with another 9.5, I think it may have been, or something like. Anyway, the shoes were wrong, so I just grabbed both boxes and I took them up there, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna bring you these. I said, I see the 10 that I need. I'm gonna bring you these two because I don't want somebody else to go through what I had to go through. Where their shoes are wrong and you want to hassle them over not doing your job properly. I wasn't mean like that, but I did say I don't want anybody else to have to go through this. So your shoes are wrong. Guess that sounds better. But anyway, I got the right size that I needed, and I happily walked out with the little shoes. But I did my walk first yesterday, and then I decided to come home because the day before when I did the walk and hit the gym at the same time, like I had zero energy, and my legs are still so weak. Like my poor little muscles are still so weak. But my walk is like I don't know how many miles am I doing. It's not a lot for I guess it's not a lot for somebody who trains like that. It's not a lot. I drove to the gym yesterday too. So afterwards, I just drove to the gym. All right. So I did 8 miles. I did my 8 mile walk yesterday, and then I came home and I rest for a few hours, and then I went out and I hit the gym. And I think I may have done the gym yesterday for about an hour. And I really just 1 hour is good. You can say 30 minutes, but 1 hour is good. It's basically the same thing. But my legs I don't know how me working my upper body made my legs feel so weak. But my little legs were still trembling yesterday at the gym. Just crazy mess. But yeah. So my little 8 miles yesterday. Day before I only managed to get in about 6.5. Day before, which wasn't terrible. I don't know how. And only 6 the day before that. I'm gonna do it all over again today. Let's take a different path today. I'm gonna do it for the next 3 months. I realize we're not eating enough though. That might be the thing. I'm really not eating a lot. I just haven't had an appetite either for eating a lot. So I'm drinking lots of protein. I'm just not eating a lot. Anyway, um, all right. And in other news, all right, Bitcoin is making some sort of an attempt to get above this little piece of resistance that it had when it's when it got in here. It actually pushed above the resistance. That's why the wick is there. But this time it looks more inclined to be able to push over it. Even if we do, like, let me see. I guess we'll take some baby steps today. Let's see about that right now. Probably slide a little bit, but let's see about that. 110. Just trying to get out of this this daily block in here. So today I will be streaming until we get through core PC, which again is at 8:30. But if nothing's happening in the market, then it won't make sense for me to stick around so long. I wouldn't do anything but just be boring and just ramble. And I tell you one thing, I'm gonna take profit quick on Crow. Which actually pays out very well. I'm gonna move that stop up now. It's up pretty good. So I'm just gonna move that stop up. I didn't even drink my coffee yesterday. I've been trying to stay away from coffee too. It's not good for your teeth either. Mainly because of that, but secondly, because I don't want the first thing I drink in the morning to be coffee. I want it to be water. All right, Bitcoin. And let me check back over here on this situation. Right. And so the situation over here with Crow for that long, I did move. Remember, I said I'm just plotting this here, but that my stop would I would kill this trade before it got down here. I just would. Right now, we do this right here. We may start to have like a Bollinger Squeeze breakout or something like that above here, but we want to get back above this momentum line in here. So it's 30 cents. We'll get above this, then we'll be back in standard deviation 1, 2. We can look to see if we possibly would reject right here, or if we would start to expand. I can see that we were actually pushing up into it here, which means that we're just above the 20 SMA, which I don't have on, but you can see we're just right there at it. So I don't like to use the 20 SMA in here other than to reference it sometimes, so you know, but I just like to use these two. So if we get above here, then that'll put us into standard deviation 1 and 2, and we could see more of a move up here for Crow, maybe some sort of an expansion. I'm just gonna do a fib off of this point here to this one. We'll look at that, see if that's a potential move Crow right now. That's probably, you know what, that's probably also the point on Crow anyway. It's also the point where you hit the golden pocket at, I believe. That usually, those little momentum lines, they usually do hit with the golden pocket. So if I do this one like this, yeah, you can see that's your golden pocket off of this little pivot in here down to this one. So that's your golden pocket. I didn't even share it. I'm so sorry. But what I was saying on Crow here, that's like these lines usually coincide with where golden pocket would be at. And if I drop it down to here, then you can see that that's also the golden pocket right there. So if we're pushing above here, then I would be looking for us to potentially come into here. So just need to get above here, flip this into some sort of support, push through that 786, and then we'll be looking at this one in here. I close it out on that personally. Keep trying, Biddy. It's just basically that same little resistance point right there for Bitcoin. But give her a sec. See if we can't do better. Like we're trying to fold on it. Those two little wicks up there. And that would put us to trying to hold this low. This candle. Not this one, but this one. All right. Same situation with Crow right now. It did just reject that golden pocket, that momentum line that we looked at. So again, be somewhere right about in here. But we could be bottoming in here for a sec. And just for a sec here on this 15-minute. We're actually at a pretty good place right now. Actually, I don't want this on here. I don't want both of these on here. But we're actually at a pretty decent place if we just hold in here for Bitcoin. Just trying to see if that came in with the golden pocket. This one actually comes closer to it. Hmm. The only thing about right in here, and I tell you, it's going to be that, again, it could be something like that. It could be something like that. And then maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do that. That is if we can get all the way up to here, too. So that's, if we can get all the way up to here, we would likely reject there, pull back in, and then maybe we can come back up, some sort of a bottom, W bottom formation or something like that. Potentially. The only problem with it right now is, again, it's going to be this spread. First thing up is this yellow, then this spread between this yellow and the blue, then the first thing down would be this yellow. So you would, yeah, get one of these candles right here, potentially. I'm going to raise my stop on Crow again. A lot closer to my entry. Because we're stalling out on Bitcoin right here a little bit. We're trying to stretch that open. You can see how it's kind of welding in here. The RSI keeps trying to flip down. It keeps trying to. But actually, no, I'll leave it. So let me just shrink this stuff in here a little bit. I have actually not been on X here in the past few days. I've really been just really trying to work on my health right now. I really haven't been on X too much, and I apologize for not updating posts, and things like that. Every time I look at these bubbles, I just kind of get upset with myself, like with piss. I had to set a stop on it. I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. I set a stop on it, and it stopped me out and left without me. Oh well. So the blue here on the RSI is your main one. The the blue one be like implied. The green one here is like your fast signal. So just fast, um, you know, maybe a quick little candle up, quick little candle down, but it's your fast one in here. And then this one, the yellow one, tends to lead to larger candles. So whenever you cross through the yellow one, you tend to see larger body candles. Like over here, you crossing down, you get a larger body candle. And it happens generally when you're crossing it. So like right in here, your candle size increases. Or let's say over here, you can see how this candle is a little bit of a bigger candle. But you get the picture. So that's what you're looking at there. And then the dots are just where you get where the RSI is far outside of the Bollinger. That's what the dots are. So that's it with that. Just far outside the Bollinger. And then, of course, whenever price action gets outside the Bollinger, just as whenever the RSI gets outside the Bollinger, you tend to come back inside of the Bollinger. So that's what that represents. You see it on either side. It doesn't actually indicate that you reverse or anything like that. It just indicates that some sort of a correction could be in play just because you're starting to deviate far outside of the Bollinger. That's it. So volatility is very low. It's very low. Our range of movement is low. About 30 minutes on this candle close. Just wanted to see if we were looking at anything like Ethereum. Ethereum actually has a little doji candle down here. So Ethereum more likely to close above that little doji on the 1 hour time frame than Bitcoin. And then if this flips up, then we definitely can ready to push back down. But this right here flips up in the current state because bears are still in control through here. Oh boy. I think I'm going to stand for a little bit. Uh-oh. Okay. Are we going to make it?
Hopefully.
Jeez, are we going to make it?
Yes.
Well, I hope we do. It's the Coin King. I guess right now you can say we put in a little bit of a bear div through here. I mean, this really isn't what I define as a pivot or anything like that, but you can see how here and here is different between this high and then this price action right in here is different from the RSI through here. So a bit of a bear div, and like I said, this gap in here, you know, you cross it up like that and you cross this yellow line back down like that, then it's not necessarily the prettiest thing. Hopefully we can manage to hold this, hold this low here. If you give me a minute, I need to go put some ice in my water. Thank you. I got my ice water.
Luigi said, "What's up?" I don't know who this is.
Hello, Luigi. 421. Why not 420? Come on, Bitcoin, do something to make us happy. That's all we want. That's it. I mean, so we already know, like on the daily time frame, that we're still trending down, and no reversal in sight as of just yet. But and the same thing for the weekly, because we did finally put in a bearish cross on the MACD, but corrective still until it crosses below that zero line. By the time that happens, it'll be too late anyway. But I do still think between September and August, we're gonna have a good month. I mean, I'm saying September and August, September and October, at least until we get to the end of October. I think we're gonna do pretty well, and then that'll be it. Oh, nice, 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 nice. Crow got a nice little pop up. That's good. We hit the 786 on Crow. I probably should have took the profits right there, but now I'm waiting for us to get that little push out of this, push up out of the Bollinger. But we did get a nice little pop up. So on Crow, we did push above our momentum line in here, and that is going to be like if I put this like this, that is going to be at where our 786 is at right here. So we can just keep it going and probably make some better money off of this, especially if we get it right here. I don't care. Just come to the golden pocket. That's great. I'd be happy with that. And I did move my stop again, and I moved my stop to just below this candle right here. So hopefully it don't take that little money from me by dropping down here. But the 15 minutes still looks okay, and it's not something I'm looking for to go to the moon or anything like that. Just trying to play out this little squeeze that we had in here. That's it. Just looking for that little squeeze in there to finish playing out. Might happen if Bitcoin get up that line, this one. If we can get up here. But Bitcoin is struggling a little bit. But if we can just get there, that'd be great. That'll help. Look at the RSI already trying to curve over again. You see that little bend? Hmm. A lot of people don't like the RSI. I love it. I absolutely love it. I used to not like the MACD, but I love the MACD now. But I love the RSI. I'm going to deviate that just a little bit. You see, I didn't put it exactly on price action, so I just wanted to let you know that. I just deviated it a little bit. And I'm gonna raise my stop on Crow again. This time I'm just gonna push it to my my entry. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna keep that stop. I moved it back. I'm gonna keep it below the 200 EMA on a 15-minute time frame. So it'll just be a small little hit. Because if it's not gonna be a strong push up, then I don't need to be in it anyway past that point. So I'm sorry. I was just talking. I didn't realize I had the mic muted. I was sharing with you that this resistance in here, the target, it did shift down into here. So if we are pushing beyond this zone right here, then I mean that's just a plus. But that this line should be down here at this point for Bitcoin. And then what I was saying over here on Crow is I pushed my stop in. So my stop loss is actually at my entry price right now. I can't do that here on the chart because then it'll say that this trade doesn't exist or whatever. But it's from the Blowfin chart. But either way it goes, it's off of the low body part of this candle right here. And initially, right before I moved it back down here to where my entry price is, I did push it up into where the 20 SMA is at. And I was showing you here on the Bollinger here that I'm looking for a push outside of standard deviation too. That's what I'm hoping will happen. I'm kind of feeling like we've capped though off of this 15-minute play. Just because we do have the bear divs, like we have a difference in price action and the indicator. So this was all just about this squeeze portion in here. So me taking the entry was all about the squeeze that was happening in here. But at the same time, we are putting in a little bit of bearish divergence in here. So we have to be able to push up further. You saw that we did come into like the 786, but if we can get past that, then I'm still looking for this golden pocket here. There's 6.8 to get tapped, and then I completely exit this trade here. I'm not sure what it looks like on a one. Let's see. Oh, okay. So the one is building the squeeze as well. I'm holding on. I'm gonna hold. Yeah, gonna hold for the hopes that we get here, since we do also have a squeeze in here now. So on the 1 hour, we also have a squeeze. So I'll be looking for that to actually push up. Yeah. Yeah. Now I don't want it to do something like it did over here. You can see how over here you waiting on the squeeze, waiting on this right here to actually break down. But you can see what the difference actually is in here too. Um, so it's typically when you actually push into the green coming down. Over here, we need to push into this red the same way we did on the 15-minute time frame. So this could take a while too. So we want to just push into it like that. But the RSI was already above the signal stuff, so it just made a difference. It made a difference. Over here, you can see how we stayed above this yellow line. So you're looking for that breakdown. It's not happening. You get this one in here, and then you get a continuation back up because it crossed back up. So it just kind of, it's about pairing it with other indicators. You're above the blue one over here, but I like to be above this yellow. So that cloud cover could push us up into the 618, and we tap this RSI would tap this yellow and reject, kind of like over here, and then that'll be the end of this trade. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell who's crossing who in here. But you also have this inside range in here as well. You can see the low of this candle in here. Sorry for this popping up. And then the high of this candle. So we are building the range in here where we're starting to see price coil, which is right there. So we are building the range right there. Same thing we did right here. We build a range and then we got to break to the upside. Hopefully that'll be the case in here as well. Boy, and I'm doing it again. I swear I'm tired. I swear I'm tired. I swear I'm just so tired. I didn't even have you on this chart. I'm just yapping, yapping, yapping. I swear I'm tired. Like my head is hurting right now. I'm a little bit dizzy. Um, but we are building the range in here. So we're building the range in here on Crow. And hopefully this breaks to the upside the same way how we build the range right here off of this candle right here. We started putting it inside bars before we got the break to the upside. So I want to see that happen over here as well. And then I was just showing you here on the 1 hour time frame that the 1 hour time frame is also starting to build in some pressure down here at the lows here for some sort of a break to the upside. I like to see us get above this yellow line in here. That's not happening just yet. We might actually do like a push into it and get a rejection, which I think would coincide with this golden pocket right here. So the 618, if we do get a push up, we can do something like we did over here where we came up. We probably actually tapped this and then we got the rejection. So you can't really tell it in here, but that's typically what happens when you have a cloud cover. And then eventually you do break to the upside of it. But this is where I'm at right now because I'm feeling like this right here may have capped out on the 15-minute time frame. This may have capped out. We see another little push down, but my stop is at my entry price. So, um, but we are slowing down a little bit in here. You can see the difference between the top over here. You can see the difference between the top over here and this part in here for price action versus this in here and this part in here. So same thing goes with the RSI. You can see that we have the bear divs in here. So that's how that's going with the bear div. And I did have it on this chart when I covered the fact that the actual resistance did drop down to that red candle we have right here on the chart right now. Current red candle, it did drop into here. I just didn't move it. I left it here. Um, but as long as we're not taking out this low in here on Bitcoin, then we should, it could be bottoming in here just for a 15-minute push higher. I think that we did do the same thing in here. I actually have this on over here on the chart. I'm still trading like below the 20 SMA here on the 15-minute time frame. No actual pressure taking place in here. And I did mention to you also, just until we start to see it change, we're still dark green in here at the moment. But bears are still in control of the 15-minute time frame. So if we were to see a flip up on this indicator right here, then it would be in favor of bears and we would see prices drop. But for now, we're starting to pinch in a little bit closer in here, so that's good. Let me just spread this open a little bit more. And give me just a second, I will be right back. Sorry, guys. Again, I was just feeling a little bit lightheaded. We only have about an hour and 15 minutes or so like that left for me though for today. So I'm gonna hang in here, see what we can accomplish. Ethereum's 1 hour is not looking too shabby. I just checked in on that. I know I don't have it on that tab. I actually can see that now. I just thought I'd mention it. So unless we get a nice candle push to the upside, this angle isn't sustainable. You know, actually, I am sorry. My ears are getting plugged in right now. I am not feeling well. And with that said, I'm gonna have to cut the stream for today. I appreciate everybody who stopped by to hang out with me. I am a little under the weather right now, and I feel it. And I need to sit out, and I need to take the rest of the day to rest. I will pick this thing back up maybe if I get a chance later today or something like that. And if not today, then it will be in the morning at 5 just for our weekend recap or Saturday recap, see what's going on with the low liquidity. But other than that, um, yeah, if we can hold this low in here on the 15-minute time frame, then you should be good enough to be able to get a push up at least into the golden pocket. Maybe not that one, but perhaps this one right here. Let me correct this here. So maybe something like that around here where we have this momentum line sitting right here. But we really do need to see a nice candle come out. Otherwise, this angle right here is not sustainable. We will still see it push back down. But again, just trying to hold this low in here on situation over here with Crow. I don't know if you took the Crow trader or not, but one of the things that I am going to be looking for is for a break to the upside in this coiling pattern that we have right here. So the 1 hour again does show like there's some sort of pressure building in on the 1 hour time frame that could give price a push to the upside. Hasn't confirmed anything just yet, but it's looking that way so far. And I'll be looking for price to get up here to the golden pocket. And if we don't manage to do that, then we probably range around in here for a little bit before we actually see a breakout on the 1 hour time frame. I may consider re-entering. Right now, my stop is set to my entry at the moment. I may actually just, yeah, we'll see. If we come down here and we possibly take the liquidity from this low or something like that. Rather not that happen. And I'd rather we just see a push to the upside. So continuing to coil in here inside this range. But a little bit of bear div in here also. With that said, I have to end the stream. Thank you.